thought you had a piece memorized only to freeze mid-performance and completely lose track of where you are and have to start the piece over? If so, you might be making the #1 memorization mistake that most piano players make. And here's how to know if you've fallen into that trap. The 3 ways you'll know that you've likely made that mistake is, first of all, you can suddenly play parts of your piece without even having tried to have memorized them. You'll find that you don't need to look at the music and you're like, wow, magically my hands just know what I'm doing here. You memorized it without even trying. The second way is if you can play something without consciously having to think about it. And the third way is if you make a mistake mid-piece and you have to go all the way back to the beginning and start over again because you can't find your way back in the middle of the piece. And all 3 of these come down to one common misconception: mistaking muscle memory for true memorization. And this #1 memory mistake that most piano players make without even realizing it can really hold you back, even if your ultimate goal isn't to play completely from memory. So stick around so I can help you solve this problem so that you can play with a higher level of confident musical expression, whether or not it's your goal to fully play from memory. Hey piano people, I'm Ashley. Welcome to Ashley on Music Studio, where you learn how to practice smarter, not harder. Let's dive in. So the key to fixing this #1 memorization mistake that most piano players are making is to work on all 4 types of memory: your muscle memory, your visual memory, your aural memory, and your cognitive memory. When you strengthen each of those 4 types of memory, you create a solid foundation that extends far beyond just muscle memory. Not only will this help you memorize your piece if that's your goal, it's also going to improve literally every aspect of your piano playing, which is going to make you more confident and make you sound more musical. I'm going to show you how to strengthen each type of memory. All right, let's dive into the practical and tangible ways that you can practice to strengthen each type of memory. If you haven't already reserved your seat for Piano Practice Lab, you're going to want to do that. Piano Practice Lab is my free 4-day event coming up in January, where you and I hang out in Zoom and I help you design a weekly practice routine that accelerates your trajectory to confident musical expression. You learn all about what works in your piano practice and what you're wasting your time on. In addition to the free seat for the live event, you get replays sent to your inbox and also a ton of other freebies. Pause the video, use the link in the description to go enter your information and reserve your free seat, and then come back and click play. So we're gonna work on aural memory first, which is how things sound. Aural memory is all about listening and connecting to the way the music sounds. So you can listen to recordings of your piece, but you're not just going to passively listen or put them on in the background. You can try singing along with the melody, or listening while you actually follow along in the score to engage your ear and your eyes together at the same time. Let's try this. So I'm gonna play, you can pretend like you're listening to a recording. I'm gonna play the first little bit of Fur Elise, and you're gonna hear the melody. I'm gonna play it for you 2 or 3 times, and then as I continue to play, I want you to start to sing along in your head or out loud, and see if you can start to kind of like predict what is coming next. Okay, let's do that same part again. Sing along. Now, if you were able to remember a little bit of what I was doing before I did it, you have some aural memory already with this piece. Let's do it one more time and really focus in and try to predict what's coming next. Now, another way that you can practice to strengthen your aural memory is to sing along with the melody while you actually play. So da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, da 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 dum, ba da da dum, da 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 dum. And it doesn't matter if you're matching the pitch. You can hear that is a melody that spans a large range, and so I wasn't always on pitch, but that doesn't matter because the point here isn't to sing it perfectly. The point is that when you sing something out loud, you engage a different part of your brain, and so you start to get it deeper into your aural memory when you engage your voice. Now, another way that you can do this is to play the melody but stop at random spots and see if you can finish the melody with your voice. So da 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 bum, da 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 dun, da 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 dun, da 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 bum, ba da da dun, da 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 dun, right? And even though I'm not perfectly on pitch, you can see that my ear knows what's coming next. And so that's how I know that I have a strong sense of aural memory. Now you can do this with one measure at a time, one phrase at a time, one section at a time until you can sing your entire piece from memory. The other thing you want to make sure you can do, you can listen along with a recording and follow along in the score and not get lost. All right, let's talk about visual memory, number 2. Visual memory comes from studying how the score looks and how your hands look on the keys. So here are some exercises. First, you're gonna wanna mark each phrase in the score. And I do this by putting a number above the first phrase. So first phrase would be number 1 with a circle around it. Second phrase would be number 2 with a circle around it. And then you're gonna practice jumping between the phrases in that order. So in for Elise, here's the first phrase. And then I stop in a random spot and I'm gonna jump to the second phrase, which is actually a repeat of the first phrase in this case. Right? And I can do that jumping around to the different phrases. I can do it first in order and then out of order. This is going to strengthen your visual memory because you're forced to know exactly where the phrases are on the page in relation to the other phrases. It's also going to force you to be able to visualize where each phrase starts on the keys. Another thing you can do to strengthen your visual memory is to actually notice patterns in the score and mark up your score. When you mark up your score, you are creating little visual cues for your memory. Like for example, every time in the left hand, every time I see an A minor chord, I might circle it and write A minor, right? And every time I see that, I'm kind of strengthening my visual memory that this pattern that the left hand is making is an A minor chord. And I'm also strengthening my memory of where the A minor chords are on the page and on the keys. Now the third type is muscle memory, and we're not really going to talk a lot about muscle memory because 1, it naturally develops when you practice things accurately over and over again, and 2, because a lot of the ways that I teach on this channel, specifically the post-it method, are really going to jumpstart your muscle memory in a very effective way. So if you want to be able to work on muscle memory and you feel like muscle memory is a weakness for you, you can go ahead and watch any of the videos, search my channel about the post-it method, but just know that you don't usually have to work too hard on muscle memory if you're already practicing effectively and efficiently using the methods that I talk about. All right, the fourth one is cognitive memory. This one is all about understanding. Let's go over some methods to strengthen it. But first, if you're learning something, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so that you know every time I release a helpful video. Comment below, let me know what type of memory you're gonna work on first, and then share the link on Facebook or on Reddit so that other piano players can also learn how to strengthen their 4 types of memory as well. Okay, so for cognitive memory, you're going to analyze your piece for patterns, chords, form, and structure. If you don't know what that is, that's okay. Basically, you're going to be a detective and you're going to look through your piece. So I might look for how many times this little motive repeats in the piece, right? That would be a great place to start. I might look for the chord patterns, noticing that I have A minor and then E minor. I might look at the rhythmic motive, so any of the rhythmic patterns that are repeating. I might look at the key signature, the accidentals, really honestly anything here. You can pretend like you're a detective and just notice everything, because the more you notice, the more you get things into your cognitive memory, meaning you're actually making the connection between your brain and your hands about what's happening in the piece. Here you can also utilize revolutionary practice methods. These methods create puzzles for your brain to solve, and that helps get everything into the deeper layers of all of the types of memory, which is really also how you strengthen cognitive memory. It's a culmination of all of the types of memory. The more you understand about why the notes are there and where they are in relation to each other, the more deeply you'll remember it. By practicing these 4 types of memory, you are setting yourself up for success, not just when it comes to memory, but also because you're going to be learning things on a much deeper level. You will be able to play with more confidence and more expression. So whether you want to play fully from memory or not, these techniques that I just described are going to take your playing to the next level. So next time you sit down to practice, don't just rely on muscle memory. It's a huge mistake. Incorporate a few of these tips and see how it transforms your playing. And remember, if you want to take your skills even further, make sure that you reserve your spot in Piano Practice Lab. This event is going to be a game changer for anyone that is serious about up-leveling their piano playing. The link is right here on the end screen, and I'm also going to link a video with the 3 most common types of revolutionary practice methods that you can use to strengthen all of these types of memory. You can grab both right here on the end screen. Happy practicing.